The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, Lord.
Once more Jesus spoke to the chief priests and Pharisees in parables. He said, "The kingdom of heaven may be compared to a king who gave a wedding banquet for his son. He sent his servants to call those who had been invited to the wedding banquet, but they would not come. Again he sent others, saying, 'Tell those who have been invited, look, I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and my fat calves have been slaughtered, and everything is ready. Come to the wedding banquet.' But they made light of it and went away, one to his farm, another to his business. While the rest seized the slaves, mistreated them, and killed them. The king was enraged. He sent his troops, destroyed those murderers, and burnt their city. Then he said to his slaves, 'The wedding is ready, but those invited were not worthy. Go therefore into the main streets and invite everyone you find to the wedding feast.' The slaves went out to the streets and gathered all whom they found, both good and bad, so the wedding hall was filled with guests. But when the king came in to see the guests, he noticed a man there who was not wearing a wedding robe. He said to him, 'Friend, how did you get in here without a wedding robe?' And he was speechless. Then the king said to his attendants, 'Bind him hand and foot and throw him out into the outer darkness, where there will be weeping and grinding of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen.'" The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
I recall when my mother was drawing close to death, she wanted me to help her plan her funeral. So I showed her the book of readings she could choose from. And she chose, for the first reading, the one we heard today, the first reading from the prophet Isaiah, which says, "God will destroy death and wipe away the tears from every face." Mom cried a lot during her life because she suffered a lot, especially severe back pains and other kinds of illnesses. And she found great comfort in knowing that all will be gone in heaven. God will wipe away all tears and remove all pain. That spoke powerfully to her. Isaiah says, "On this holy place, this mountain, God will provide a rich feast of good food and choice wine, symbols of everything we need to live well. The ability to love and be loved, the conviction that we are worthwhile as persons, interior peace, and confidence to face the future." Those are all things that we desperately want and need. God says he wants to give us all that. He doesn't promise to take away all burdens, but to help us to bear them with dignity. And he will wipe away all tears from our eyes. Comfort us in sorrows. It's a wonderful, wonderful reading. I'm so glad Mom chose that for her funeral. The second reading today from St. Paul. He says, "In the one who is my strength, I find strength for everything." He wasn't talking out of his head. He was in prison at that time. He's a prisoner sitting there by himself, being punished for speaking out about Jesus. He says, "I find strength for everything in the one who is my strength." That is God. I know what it's like, he says, to have an abundance, and I know what it's like to do without. I can do all things in the one who strengthens me, that is, in God. My center is God, and my trust is in God, and not in the wheel of fortune or whatever. And then the gospel is another one of those parables of Jesus. He said, God is like a king who invites all his people to his son's wedding banquet. Just come, no cost, no admission charge, no gift, just come. But most refused. They made excuses. Some even beat up on the messengers. Jesus is saying God is a remedy for your sadness, your loneliness, your feeling inadequate, your fears and anxieties. But people so often seek remedies elsewhere other than in God. Buying more, partying more, trying new and exciting things. They may work for a while, but it's not really fill that empty spot in our hearts, because only God can fill that. When the scriptures use words like banquet and rich food and wine, it's easy for us to make connections with the Eucharist. Jesus shares with us his very own life, our spiritual food and drink for our souls and our spirits that we are most in need of. Some years ago, I read a beautiful story about Cardinal Francis George, who was Bishop of Chicago at that time. He visited a mission in Africa, and he celebrated a Mass at the village there, the community, and they had this wonderful music, and dancing during the liturgy, as only the African people will do. And so it was just a wonderful celebration. It went on for almost 2 hours. And afterwards, the cardinal went for a little bit of a walk down toward the river. There he saw a lone man standing there. And he said to the man, "How'd you like the Mass?" And the man shook his head, said, "It was beautiful, but it's too good to be true. Too good to be true." Now we may think of that sometimes ourselves. God coming to us in human flesh and Jesus, too good to be true. Jesus dying on the cross for love of us, too good to be true. Jesus rising from the dead, too good to be true. Jesus giving us his own flesh and blood as our spiritual food and drink in the Eucharist, too good to be true. The Word of God saying, "I want to help you, not harm you, forgive you, not condemn you, wipe away the tears from your face, not give you more to weep about." Too good to be true. No, not at all. Humanly speaking, yeah, that's what we would think. But let's recall again what we heard in the responsorial psalm today, the beautiful Psalm 23. "The Lord is my shepherd, there's nothing I shall want. Beside restful waters he leads me, he refreshes my soul. Even though I walk through the dark valley of death, I fear no evil, for you, O Lord, are at my side." Too good to be true? No. It is the word of the Lord our God. And we say, thanks be to God.